Sunday. So you're into this, right? All right.
Everybody that's here today, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this very special day.
All we're going to do is look forward to the excitement that's about to happen here in sports when the biggest single-day sporting event takes place right here in this very building 100 days from today at 5:20 Dallas time. Super Bowl 45 will be here.
Give yourself a round of applause. I like that. I'm going to capture this. This is great. Okay, good, good, good. I just videotaped that. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to show it to my bosses and tell them I got a standing ovation when you brought me out here.
Before I get off on that side, let me give you the answers to the questions I've been asked most since I got into town on Thursday. First of all, Bears fans, your team's going to stink this year. Secondly, I'll be shocked if Brett Favre doesn't come back and play again for the Minnesota Vikings.
Joining us right now is the guy who is already the longest-serving governor in the history of the great state of Texas, the Honorable Rick Perry. Governor?
Hello, Curt.
Thank you very much for joining us.
How are you?
But I think things turned out all right for me. I'm now the host of Fox NFL Sunday, the #1 pregame show in all of America, along with Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Michael Strahan, and Jimmy Johnson.
And each and every Sunday, we have to take 5 distinct personalities and make them into one team. That's what we do. We talk about football and entertain America on Fox NFL Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, on your local Fox station, by the way. But we like to try and make this teamwork come out as one unit. And I think that's what you guys are trying to do here.
And a man whose introduction is probably about as long as one of his runs, a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, 3-time Super Bowl champion, the NFL's all-time leading rusher, co-chair of the host committee's Emerging Business Action Team, and chairman of the North Texas NFL Youth Education Town Regional Board of Advisors, and a winner of Dancing with the Stars. Ladies and gentlemen, Emmitt Smith.
And now, here I stand at the age of 44, on the same stage I walked across as a 21-year-old, giving a commencement address and receiving an honorary diploma. We'll see how Bradshaw likes to refer to me as Dr. Menefee from now on, all right?
People always talk to me about how you guys seem so together when you're doing the show. You guys work together as a unit. They never talk to us about X's and O's and how you broke down a play. It's the camaraderie, it's the teamwork that you guys exhibit on the set. And I try and tell people, you know, teamwork is not just what we do on Sunday. It's not like we just show up and pretend that we're a team, because I don't think you can do that. I think it eventually will show if you're trying to fake it and you're trying to pretend you get along. Just like you guys are here today to try and make this thing come together. We don't just show up on Sunday to make it come together. Teamwork is not what you do in one day. Teamwork is what you do every day.
All you have to do from this point forward, in order to grasp control of your life and make it the success that you want to be, are 3 very simple things. 1, work hard. 2, be passionate. 3, enjoy life.
Look, people assume that you're the owner of the Cowboys, this great facility is your home stadium, so you are honored to have the game here, and I'm sure you are, and everybody knows why you would love, as an owner, to have the game here. But talk a little bit about just the impact that you've seen this game have already on the North Texas community and what you hear from people that are fans or as you go around.
And I can remember walking down a hallway at Fox Sports, and a guy who was an executive, but had absolutely nothing to do with our broadcast and our show, saw me walking down the hall. He said, "Curt, can I talk to you for a second?" "Yeah," because I knew the guy. He pulls me in his office. He goes, "Look, you're trying too hard. They hired you because of who you are. Don't come out and try to be something else. Be yourself. That's what's going to make it work. That's what's going to make you work." And it was like the Hallelujah chorus came out. It's such a simple concept of being yourself, not trying to do too much, especially when you're bringing a unit together.
You know, you grew up as a Jersey kid and you live here now, and this has become part of your life, being a North Texan. And I want you and Emmitt both to just talk about, you know, being from a different place, now being a part of this community, giving back to this community as part of this host committee and the committee specifically that you work with.
Knowing who you are doesn't mean that you know you like strawberry ice cream instead of chocolate, or you like Jay-Z instead of Q2. It means knowing what makes you tick, what makes you passionate to get up each morning and go about another day.
I mean, we've got 8 Super Bowl rings combined on our show. You may notice I have 0, right? I didn't play professional football. I didn't coach professional football like the other guys. So how do I lead this group of men who have all had distinguished careers at the championship level when I haven't been one of them? So that's why you try too hard sometimes and get outside your own realm. Once you pull it back in, you say, okay, what am I? I can be the most prepared person that there is.
I think that answers everybody's question. Guys, thank you so much for helping bring the game here to North Texas, for all you've done to help us have great Super Bowl memories of your past exploits, and good luck to you the rest of the way.
So seniors, this is your day. But once again, I suggest you take a moment out to applaud your parents for the sacrifices they made to help you get to this spot 2 decades later.
This building will be rocking. North Texas will be rocking. Super Bowl 45 will be yours. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day.
First of all, I got here just a few minutes ago, and one of the first things I heard was, I was like, well, gosh, everybody's kind of quiet this morning, is what they kept saying back there. You know, I don't want to like start rivalries or anything, but they told me that the guys up in Northern California were much more into it than the folks in Southern California. I say that can't be right. I mean, I live in Southern California. I know that people in Southern California can be into it. So you're into this, right? Yeah. All right. So with that in mind, I know you've been here for a couple of hours already. You're probably getting a little tired. You're thinking about lunch. What can we do next? But I want you to give yourself a round of applause for putting up through the first hour and a half of this day. I know it gets you out of the office, so you're probably happy, but still, give yourself a nice round of applause. Yes, stand up. Come on, clap. Give yourself a round of applause. I like that. I'm gonna capture this. This is great. Okay, good, good, good. I just videotaped that. I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna show it to my bosses and tell them I got a standing ovation when you brought me out here. They'll like that, right? It'll make me look good. Well, one of the things that, we talked about is teamwork. And in the introduction, he mentioned how, I do the show with Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Michael Strahan, Jimmy Johnson. And each and every Sunday, we have to take 5 distinct personalities and make them into one team. That's what we do. We talk about football and entertain America on Fox NFL Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, on your local Fox station, by the way. But we like to try and make this teamwork come out as one unit. And I think that's what you guys are trying to do here. The folks at Young's Market, along with the Bacardi brands, you're trying to meld this into one unit. You've been together for 70 years. You know that you've had an opportunity to make this work, but how do you keep it working as a team? And I think, look at what we do each and every Sunday is a prime example of that. Because whenever I go out, believe it or not, you see people in airports, you see people at events like this, people always talk to me about how you guys seem so together when you're doing the show. You guys work together as a unit. They never talk to us about X's and O's and how you broke down a play. It's the camaraderie, it's the teamwork that you guys exhibit on the set. And I try and tell people, teamwork is not just what we do on Sunday. It's not like we just show up and pretend that we're a team, because I don't think you can do that. I think it eventually will show if you're trying to fake it and you're trying to pretend you get along. Just like you guys are here today to try and make this thing come together. We don't just show up on Sunday to make it come together. Teamwork is not what you do in one day. Teamwork is what you do every day. Every day you're trying to find a way to make your team the best it can be. On our show, we're on the set on Sunday. People see us Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon during halftimes, post-game, all day long. But that's not what our team is. Our team is made up of guys who, during the week, we talk to one another, we spend time together. In the off-season, we talk to one another, we spend time together. As a matter of fact, we were all, just last week, all 5 of us got together at Jimmy Johnson's place down in the Florida Keys, had some Grey Goose, a couple of other products as well, and just kind of enjoyed each other's company. During the season, I know how to talk to guys. Everybody's different, and that's what you have to figure out with your team. Everybody's different. What makes them tick? I know that if I want to talk to Terry, I have to call him on the phone. If I want to talk to Jimmy, I have to send him an email because he doesn't answer the phone. You have different responses. Howie and I text like high school schoolgirls. I mean, it's just a matter of knowing what makes each person tick. Michael Strahan and I live 2 blocks from one another. We see each other all the time. So this camaraderie and building this teamwork is something that goes on throughout the week, throughout the year, and you see the results of it on Sunday. It's the same thing with what you're doing. You can't just come here today and say, okay, we're going to put these two brands together, we're going to be a team. It doesn't work like that. It's what you do every day to make this team work. Not saying you have to be best friends with people you don't know or you have a light association with, but you do need to find a way, whatever it is that makes that other person tick or that other unit tick, to make sure that you're able to interact with one another and that you're able to respond to one another, so that when it comes time to have the ultimate teamwork, then it can work. And I think that shows with us in what we do on Sunday. Our show is the #1 pregame show in America. Not just about football, it's the #1 pregame show for all of sports. And it's been that way for 17 years, since the day it went on the air in 1994. But like a lot of things in life, during those 17 years, there's been changes as well. 12 years into this run, they always had James Brown, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and Jimmy Johnson. And that was the team. For 12 straight years, it was #1. Then James Brown, JB, decided he was going to leave and go over to CBS through what I consider a long and arduous process. They finally named me as the host to replace JB. Now, you can imagine my feeling of this being the first major change for a show that had been #1 for 12 straight years. Because you know, if anything goes wrong, the ratings go down, hey, there's only one change. They brought Menefee in, got to be his fault, right? So I was feeling an enormous amount of pressure. But I do remember when I got the gig, and I talked to our boss, David Hill, and I said, you know, David, I've got this opportunity. What's your advice? His advice to me was, don't screw it up. Okay. If I think thought I had pressure before, imagine your boss telling you, don't screw this up. So I remember the first week I was on the set, and I came out and I started making these jokes about Terry Bradshaw's divorce. Now, I don't know if Terry Bradshaw knew who I was. Probably didn't know my last name. It's just, I'm the guy sitting beside him for now. And I heard through the grapevine that it didn't really go over too well. But Terry didn't say anything to me. Once again, I don't know if he thought I was an intern or something. You know, you never know. So I just didn't feel comfortable, but I was like, I got to keep this train going. I'm the new guy. I got to make sure everybody understands that I'm part of this team. The second week, I did something equally as stupid. And I just remember, I'm like, gosh, I don't know how to make this thing work. I kept trying, and I'm trying different things. And I can remember walking down a hallway at Fox Sports, and a guy who was an executive, but had absolutely nothing to do with our broadcast and our show, saw me walking down the hall. He said, Curt, can I talk to you for a second? Yeah, because I knew the guy. He pulls me in his office. He goes, look, you're trying too hard. They hired you because of who you are. Don't come out and try to be something else. Be yourself. That's what's going to make it work. That's what's going to make you work. And it was like the Hallelujah chorus came out. It's such a simple concept of being yourself, not trying to do too much, especially when you're bringing a unit together and there's been the first change it's ever have had, or you're the new partner on the team. You feel like you've got to try and do something different. When there's change, you feel like, I've got to prove that I belong here. I've got to prove my worth to everybody. Just remember, the reason that they brought you in and made this part of a unit is because of who you are. They feel they need what you bring to the team. So don't try and go outside and be yourself or something other than yourself. Because I know in talking to some of the folks that, you know, this is a time where there's a lot of change going on in your unit. And I just think that's a fascinating story. Sometimes, once again, you forget, just be yourself. If you're yourself, this team will come together and the teamwork will work. One of the things that brings you here today, besides, once again, a chance to get out of the office and hang out for a little bit and have half a day on Friday and then spend your weekend early, is that you're leaders in your own right. You wouldn't be in this room if you weren't a leader. And I think a lot of times we go, what is leadership? What makes leadership work? Especially if you're part of a team, because you may not be the guy at the head or the woman in charge, but you're a leader just by example and by the way you do things. When you're part of a team and you're a leader, you want to be prepared for everything. Everything. And that's what I figured out my role with the show is going to be. Be yourself. Well, what am I? I'm the guy who, unlike the other guys, I mean, we've got 8 Super Bowl rings combined on our show. You may notice I have 0, right? I didn't play professional football. I didn't coach professional football like the other guys. So how do I lead this group of men who have all had distinguished careers at the championship level when I haven't been one of them? So that's why you try too hard sometimes and get outside your own realm. Once you pull it back in, you say, okay, what am I? I can be the most prepared person that there is. That's how I succeed, is by being prepared. And a lot of people talk about, okay, plan for this scenario and plan for that scenario, and we've got all the bases covered. Well, anybody who's been around knows there's always something that's going to come up that you didn't plan for. That's why there's a difference between planning and preparing. When you're prepared, you can handle unforeseen circumstances. When you plan, something may happen that you don't have a plan for, how to recover from. And I think one of the great examples I like to use is I go back to when the Giants beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. New England came into the Super Bowl that year undefeated, hadn't lost a game, they were the best team ever, yada, 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 yada. They lead 14-10. Giants are behind in the fourth quarter, 1:15 seconds left. 3rd down in their own territory. I'm sure most people know the play now, even if you're not a Giants fan. Eli Manning comes out, he's rolling. Adalius Thomas from the Patriots grabs him, looks like he's about to be sacked. Eli finds a way to get free, throws a pass down the field. David Tyree catches the ball against his helmet. They get the first down, they go on to get the touchdown, win the game, only team that beats the Patriots all season, and it's in the Super Bowl. Now, you look at that moment, the Giants couldn't have planned for that. Eli Manning and David Tyree could not have planned to make that play. There's no play in your playbook that says break a tackle, run like a madman, throw it to a guy, and he catches it on his helmet. But they were prepared for that. All the throws that Eli Manning made from the time he was a little boy, all the scramble drills he did, David Tyree practicing how to catch the ball in different positions. This wasn't a plan for this specific play, but they were prepared because of all the work they had done to get themselves to this point. And so that preparation came together at the perfect time with some fortune that put them in a perfect position to win. And so a lot of times, if you prepare, you can handle things that come up that you didn't plan for. So there's a difference between planning and preparation and continuing to make the team successful. As long as you're prepared, you can help your team achieve success. You know, one of the things about leadership and teamwork, but specifically leadership, that I like to talk about is that when you get to be a leader, or when you get to be a key teammate, be prepared and dare to be a great leader. Dare to be a great teammate. One of my favorite sayings comes from Jimmy Johnson, coach on our show, won a national championship at the University of Miami, won 2 Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys. And he used to tell his team, the biggest enemy of great is good. Think about that. The biggest enemy of great is good. What he means by that is that a lot of people settle for being good. A lot of people are happy when you tell them, good job. You're doing good. They settle. If you want to be great, you've got to put a goal out there, and you've got to find a way to reach it. You can't be satisfied in being good. And that goes for leaders, that goes for teammates, that goes for the expectations that you have from others, and the expectations that you have for others. So as you guys continue your work here, between Bacardi, Young's Market, remember, what it takes to be a great teammate is finding a way to make this thing work together, whatever it takes, on a daily basis, not just once a year when you get together. What it takes is being a great leader, and it takes daring. Dare to be great. I think as long as you do all of that, this will come together, change or not, everybody will be happy, everybody will be on the same page, and you will continue to provide me with many, many nights of great nightlife. Thank you very much for your time.